Thanks, Paul. Thanks, everybody, for being with us here tonight. First of all, I'd like to give credit to Illinois. They obviously played cleaner and played well here today. And it's a veteran group of guys that they have playing for them, and thought that they played a really good game. So I want to congratulate them. Obviously on our end, opportunities lost. We turned the ball over early, gave up explosive plays, and had opportunities, obviously, to get off the field. And, today was kind of a microcosm of the season. So disappointed, obviously, but also very thankful for our seniors. The guys that have gone through here and had so many great success stories. As I told them here in the locker room after the game, I'll always be here for them and really, really thankful for them and their families. And same thing for all of you that covered us that are seniors. Just wanted to say thanks. Wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, and look forward to getting to work with this group once we get back going in January. So if you guys finish up final strong and travel home safe, and then, recharge, reload, and get back to work in January. So with that, how about any questions I can answer, please?
First question, Ben Chasen.
Hey, Coach, after winning this game in 2019 and finishing kind of 3-9 on the season, you said after the game that kind of record would never happen again at Northwestern under your watch. 2 years later, we're still kind of here in Champaign, or at least you are. Record still 3-9 on that sense. What would you say to the people who kind of believed you after that moment?
I'd say that we won the Big Ten West Championship in Outback Bowl last year. So that was positive, and that was fun. And I believe that we'll continue to keep growing and keep building. We had from probably my most veteran team to probably my youngest, and those are excuses. We just got to get to work and get better.
Drew Schott.
Hey, Coach. When you look at this team, as you mentioned, kind of having your youngest from your oldest last year, as you head in with the 6 straight losses to end the season and losing the hat, what are you looking for into the offseason, kind of looking at motivation? How do you think your team is going to kind of react to the end and try to take the lost momentum and transition it into positive kind of change in the offseason?
Yeah, well, I think that's right. I think it's first, number one, an attitude of being grateful for the opportunity and a positive attitude to get to work. That's number one. It seems simplistic, but that's pretty complicated when you have some challenges not go your way, and you see kind of an immature aspect. There was a lot of coaching on game day this year than maybe I've ever done. So it all starts and ends with me. I mean, I'm the leader. I'm the guy that's got to get things in the right place. And obviously I didn't push the right buttons and get the right combinations, this year, which is disappointing. But I'm really thankful for our seniors and really grateful for them and for their families. They've done so much and busted their rear ends, and really appreciative of it.
Any other questions for Coach? Please message Athletic Communications. Louis.
Hey, Coach. Question, you talked this week about the importance of the Land Lincoln Trophy and sending seniors out on the right way. What did you think about the effort, performance of your team to start the game? I mean, things seemed to snowball on you early.
I thought we had a really good plan and we were moving the ball. We turned the ball over, Lou. You can't do that. Can't do that in any game. I don't care what level you're playing at. You can't turn the ball over. And then you can't give up explosive plays. And that's a minus, double minus equals loss. And had a lot of that this year, not playing complementary football, not playing, consistently fundamentally. Part of that is technique. Part of that is eyes, communication, execution. I mean, we got to start from the ground up. We got to get stronger. We got to pound the weight in the weight room, and then we got to bring, competition in. We got to get our edge back. We got to get our grit back and our toughness, because that's kind of been the hallmark of my time here. We've been a really tough, gritty, blue collar group that demonstrates a great attitude and fights their tail off. And, and kind of where it gets going in a positive way, like it was last year, that, outside of maybe a couple plays in the MSU game, you feel pretty dang good about the whole picture. And then this year it kind of was the other way, negative. Right. And, I think that type of attitude and energy can go up or can go down. And obviously I wasn't able to kind of sway it back in the positive direction this year.
Okay. You mentioned turnovers, big plays. It's happened a lot to you this year. I mean, did you see improvement this year in your team? Like looking at where you were the first game to where you were today?
Not to where I want to be now.
Is there any reason you think? Or,
Yeah, I mean, I think again, I'll go back. I mean, you look at really the games and you look at the opportunities that we lost, the red zone that we didn't score in, that would have put points on the board, the turnovers. We're not a. You look at our successful teams, Louis, and you've been covering me for a long time. We've taken care of the ball, we've taken it away, we've run the ball, we've stopped the run, we've limited explosive plays, we've been sound, smart in the kick game, played with an attitude, a toughness, and a grit, and we had some of that this year. We didn't get it to a consistency level that it needs to be. And that's my job. And that's what I got to get fixed in the offseason. And like every year, last year in the Outback Bowl, last year in the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, you're in a jubilant locker room and it's unbelievable. And things couldn't seem any better. Right. And you enjoy it, but it's still the death of a team. It's a funeral and it's a birth of a new team. And obviously with this same locker room in the opposite direction, right? You got a death of one team and a birth of another. So, we'll see who comes back. We'll see who's, with us in January, and then we'll bring in a great recruiting class, and we'll add different pieces to the puzzle and continue to add competition and get back to our championship standard. And I firmly believe we'll be able to do that.
thank you.
Thank you, bud.
Time for two more. John Riker.
Hey, Coach, appreciate you being here. I guess one of the bright spots kind of from the season, Evan went over 100 yards and 1,000 on the season. What kind of have you seen from him, and in terms of taking that forward and kind of building that offense next year?
Yeah, John, I no doubt, and for a while there, obviously we're trying to get back into the game and it wasn't obviously successful tonight, but to see Evan, the toughness and the grit, he got rolled up in the first series, sprained his ankle pretty bad in the first series of the game, and to see him continue to fight. And Lou Annie and I talked to him on the boundary, asked him what he thought, and he said he wanted to go get 1,000, and so did the O-line. And to their credit, they were able to get that done. I'm so proud of him. He had to step up, but he just had to be himself, and that's what he did this year. He's a tough, gritty competitor that I couldn't be more ecstatic to have him coming back. And we're going to need it's guys like him, that are going to get us back to where we need to be.
Ben Chasen.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, kind of like a lot of things, as you mentioned, a lot of young players playing throughout the year. Another kind of situation with turnover for y'all. You were in your first year under a new defensive coordinator, first full season under a new offensive coordinator. And there's been, I think, a lot of stability at those positions in the past. Do you kind of account any of this year's shortcomings to turnover in those positions? And when you're talking with Jim, with Mike after the season, kind of as you move into the offseason, what are the things you're going to mention going forward for next year to improve?
Yeah, I'll go back. I think number one, it's the weight room. It's the off season. We've got to get, just stronger across the board as a team to be able to play more physical. That's number one. Schematically, we got to look at some things and we have all year, but, really take a deep dive into the areas that we got attacked, the areas where we've got to add competition to be able to make sure that we continue to have the depth at certain positions that we've been blessed to have here. And sometimes when you don't have that depth now, you don't really have the competition that when guys aren't playing, maybe to their best. And then we got to coach them better. We got to fundamentally look at the things we're doing, schematically look at the things we're doing, and then adjustment wise, look at the things that we're doing. So you take a holistic look and, I feel great about the entire group. Yeah, there's been a lot of change, I think, across the board. But sometimes change can be really a huge catalyst. And that's what I expect to see this offseason without a doubt. All right, I guess that's it. So I just want to say thanks to everybody again for covering us this year. Disappointed in the year. Thankful for you. Thankful for our fans. Thank you for our seniors and their families. And couldn't be more excited about the future. As disappointed as I am right now, I've never been more motivated to get a team where it needs to be, and couldn't be more excited to bring in a great recruiting class and watch this great group of seniors move forward with their lives and in the real world and the National Football League and wherever their future endeavors go. Just really thankful for them. So happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everybody. Thanks for covering us. Thanks a lot. Go Cats.
First question, Ben Chasen.
Chris, looking back on your career at Northwestern, what moments stand out as highs, what moments stand out as lows, and particularly being a leader this year, what experiences will you remember 10, 20 years down the line?
I'm currently at a loss for words, obviously, just coming to grips with the fact that, I've played in 58 consecutive games for this program, and that's all over now. And, in life, there's experiences. There's no such thing as bad experiences. There's experiences we don't like, but there's no such thing as bad experience. So through it all, the highs and the lows, I've learned something from it all. And in hindsight, I know it's hard to see right now. I wouldn't have done it any other way. And when you talk about what will I remember, I could tell you right now, the last 60 games Northwestern's playing in order, where they were played, I probably bet about 95% on uniform combo. So I'm not going to forget a single detail of my career here. This is something I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. So I have nothing but gratitude for this program, for these coaches, for my teammates, for these fans, for you guys, for the staff. It's been surreal of allowing, just a kid to live his dream.
Drew Shot.
Hey, Chris, Coach Fitz a few minutes ago talked about his optimism for the future. And even though kind of you're graduating and moving on, kind of what do you see as this team's near future? What do you think this team can do?
I think they could be wherever they want to be. I saw growth throughout the season. I saw maturing. I saw ownership of leadership by younger guys. And this team going forward has all the potential in the world. How they attack this offseason, which I know the way they will because of our staff and because of the guys we have, the sky's the limit for them going forward. And I'm going to miss them.
Anything else for Chris? All right. Thanks, Chris. First question, Drew Shot.
Hey, Ryan, thanks for being here. When you reflect on your journey throughout the season, from starting, going on the bench, starting, kind of what do you take away from this experience and kind of finishing the game from Illinois? Kind of what do you take away from your season and what you've learned this year at Northwestern?
Yeah, I think you can look obviously at a football perspective, and you could say it was up and down like a roller coaster, and which it was, of course. There are some things we want to do better, some things we could improve on, but this is the most fun I've had playing football. Throughout playing football my whole life, because these guys are awesome. So, excuse me, apologize. Because I just love these guys. I love Coach Fitz, love his whole staff. And they welcome me like I was one of their own. So I just say it's been crazy. Of course, it's something we want to improve upon, and we will next year. I'll make sure of that. But I just, when I look back at season, I'm going to remember these relationships with these seniors and all these guys on this team. So,
Ben Chasen.
Ryan, kind of once you've taken a step back from this season and maybe taken a moment to regroup, what are the steps that you begin taking as a player to kind of move forward and potentially have a more productive year, both as an individual and as a team next year?
Evan and I will be in the facility tomorrow doing some stuff. So we'll get back to it really soon, because we don't want this to ever happen again. But once we get really back to it as a squad, I think there's just got to be a sense of ownership. A couple more leaders need to step up, and I thought we had that really well this year, and we're going to lose those guys. So it's going to be crucial to find those leaders on offense, to find those leaders on defense. And if guys are doing stuff wrong, put an end to it immediately, because there's a standard here at Northwestern, and I've only been here since March. And I knew this before I even came to Northwestern, that this school was a school that had people that worked really hard on the football team, that got wins and got the work done no matter at what cost. And that's exactly what I got when I came in here. And that's just what we got to get back to doing. We just got to get back to working hard. We got to get back to holding each other accountable and just doing the little things right. Coach Bajakian always talks about being a machine. He talks about Jameis Winston and Tom Brady being a machine, always doing the little things right, knowing the game plan. He could start a formation. He could say some type of formation, and then Jameis Winston could finish the rest of it. So it comes down to just the little things like that, and just mastering your craft. So I think that's the biggest thing we got to do this offseason. Sorry, it was a broad answer.
No, you're good. You're good. And I'm curious, just because you've been here for this 1 year. Obviously, a lot of guys are departing this year. Are there any particular players who just played their last game alongside you that you can kind of accredit for some growth here? And what would you say to them as they kind of go on their way?
It made me cry again. Damn. Sam Jarrett is a dude I'll remember for the rest of my life. He's my roommate. He's a dude that when I didn't win the job, preseason came to me and said, you know what, we're going to need you this year. Just be ready. He helped me stay grounded in my faith. And that's a dude you just love to have as a friend no matter what. Joe Spivak is another guy obviously he wears the number. He's an exemplary human being, and he just is all about everything Northwestern. I could name every single guy that's leaving this year and say they've credited to my growth as a person and a football player. And I'm very thankful for every single one of those guys because they're just incredible human beings and great football players too. So,
Drew?
Ryan, you've talked about the relationships that you've built this year and returning next year with Andrew and Hunter moving on and you coming back as a quarterback, knowing the players on both sides of the ball. How important do you think that is, not only for you, but as the team? And how do you think that's going to help you going forward, your familiarity and the trust you've built with your teammates?
It's the most important thing, Drew. It's the first thing Coach Fitz and Coach Jake talked to me about when I came in here. They said, I got to build relationships with the guys. They have to trust me before Coach Fitz and Coach Jake could trust me. I've had so many guys that have told me they trusted me. They're ready for next year. They're ready to go. And I just think it's super important, those relationships with those guys. It's the first thing I started doing when I first got here. Because when you're out there on that field and you see Evan Hull, the dude that you just went to go get dinner with on Wednesday night, get smashed by 3 guys, and you're the first one over there trying to hit somebody that's hitting him. And I think when we play, like Coach Jake always says, 11 is 1. I think that's what Coach Jake really means. And I think just having that camaraderie, having that bond, that trust with each other, and then having the confidence that follows with your play, I think that's all going to mesh into one special something for our team next year. If that answers your question.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, guys.